right, good morning, traders. This is your member update from Seasonal Swing Trader. Today is Thursday, August 24th, 2017. Let's take a quick look at our closed positions and open positions here in August. We're here at the end of the month already. Hard to believe. You can see here we've had four official trades in the month of August. We had the Australian dollar, which we have closed out. We were short the mini Russell and the mini NASDAQ. Stopped out of our last position in the mini Russell this morning at 1375 right here. And then we were stopped out of the NASDAQ when we adjusted our stops down to 58.25 on the balance. So have some nice profits in for the month of August, currently at $6,100 on a two-lot in the futures. We are short the euro currency, taking a little bit of heat there. We're short from 117.50. Currently trading at 118.15 this morning. I am short a 119, 121 call spread that expires on 9/1. Hasn't changed much since I initiated the position. Moved into profit on the short 119s, then took a little bit of heat, then went back into profit, then took a little bit of heat again, and now I'm back into profit. I'm up about 5 ticks or so on the short 119s, and those should start to evaporate pretty quickly going into next week, assuming we stay at or around these levels. So I'm short the 119, long the 121 for protection. So as long as we stay below 119 through next week, I'll realize the full profit potential in that position. And futures traders, so we're trading at 118.15, short from 117.50. We'll maintain that position. We'll go through the charts here in a second. Just wanted to bring that to your attention. Here are the risk levels. Okay, so flipping over to the charts here. Here is the Australian dollar trade that went right down to our target. That position is closed. Been watching the British pound here. I'm looking for a topping pattern. I would have liked to have gotten short up here, obviously. Don't really quite have a 52-week high that I would like to see. You can see here the high was in early September, 9697 of 2016. So we're pretty close to establishing a new 52-week high, or a 52-week high here that was set on August 3rd. So I don't know if we've moved too far, too fast here, but kind of like a head and shoulders pattern up here at these levels, nestled right on the 50-day. So we would have, there's a break here at the 129.50 level. So ideally what we may want to see is come up here for a retest. This is also kind of a small 1, 2, 3 here, but again, it's not a 52-week high, so that's why we did not take it. We're also short the euro currency, which would be a pretty correlated trade. But you can see here we can expect a possible longer term or bigger move to the downside. It's a $2,000 move, and that's going to take us right around here at past to the 200-day, and then also into this area here at 126.50. So that's kind of what we're watching on the pound. We'll see if we get a new 52-week high to possibly take a trade. Looking at the Australian dollar here, you can see the 3 and 5s are pointing lower for a seasonal move to the downside. So we're watching a 1, 2, 3 here on a break below 78.50. If we do start to come down, we're going to be bumping right into the longer term trend line. So once that cracks, we should have an official entry on the Canadian dollar. Here is the euro currency. Don't really like this break back above this short uptrend line. We are really waiting here for this move lower. We should be peaking or topping out right around here. This could provide some problems here, this trend line retest, but that would be or should be around the 117 level, and that might be a good area to go ahead and take some of the risk off the table, take some profits if we do see a move down to 117. Once we get a clear break below these levels, it should be all aboard down to 115 and then possibly even 114 if we're still in the trade. I have been watching the dollar closely. waiting for a break above this area here at 93.75, 93.80, just kind of consolidating, chopping around. This would be an inverse trade to the short euro, so obviously if we see a bounce higher in the dollar, that will help our short euro position. I will be taking trades in the dollar index. Keep in mind, if we're wrong on one, we're probably going to be wrong on both. If we're right on one, we're going to be right on both. So just keep that in mind. If it's too much risk for you, just take one or the other. If you're not short the euro yet, you can consider taking longs in the dollar if and when we get a confirmation to do so. Moving over to December natural gas, we don't quite have a 52-week low here. You can see the last low was made in November 2016. I don't know that we will get new lows. We could. You can see that the averages do point back lower. We're kind of chopping around here. This chart looks messy with the averages and the seasonal patterns, but I just do want to point this out. We may go ahead and take a bottom trade here, even though it's not a 52-week bottom. We'll be looking for breaks above these levels here. Be cautious of a possible swoop to the downside before you resume trade back up to the upside. So here I'm thinking instead of call spreads, we may look at selling out of the money put spreads. You can do that in UNG as well. We noted in the last update, I believe it was, looking at trades to take to the downside on the unleaded gas and heating oil contracts at the 50% retracement level, also crude oil. All of these are doing this very similar thing. You can see seasonally, we kind of chop around here going into September. I don't see anything right now that gets me real excited about taking this trade. Taking the trades at the 50% retracement level are not my favorite. I do think that they can be considered, but they will not be an official trade. So let's see how we react around this 50% retracement level. Sometimes we have sharp reactions. Sometimes they're an indecisive point as to dictate where we go in the future. So let's see what we do here. Right now, we're not completely rejecting the level, so I would be cautious of any new shorts. Same thing with heating oil as discussed in the RBOB contract. Going over to December crude oil, I know some of you are looking at October crude, just keeping a little bit longer term perspective here. On Dece crude, you can see here, this was the reaction right at the 50% that rejected it 1, 2, 3 times. We've moved down lower. I'm not doing anything in crude oil as we speak. I think there's going to be some opportunity in the grain markets here. Grains have been getting crushed, specifically corn and wheat. The bean complex, a little bit more positive. In fact, I am looking to possibly take a trade in soybeans. Would be an unofficial trade. I'll let you know when we get to that market here in a second. Looking at corn, just staying patient on the sidelines, waiting for a nice bottom formation to take with a seasonal trend to the upside. Same thing on wheat, just waiting patiently to take a trade to the upside. Look at these 1, 2, 3s that worked out here. This is a 1, 2, 3 bottom. Remember, these were new lows before we made these here. So this is a trade that worked out for $2,100 roughly per contract. This was a trade that was taken on the top side, a 1, 2, 3 top, came down to the 495 level to pay $2,200 per contract. So that is why you see that I love trading these patterns. They can be traded with futures, options, spreads, ETFs. Great way, nice, easy trade, very simple. You've got your profit target, you know where your risk is, and you simply trail the stops using a trend line analysis until you are stopped out of the trade. All right, moving over to November beans. We're trading up around 8 cents today at 9.46 quarter. That's going to put us right around in this area here. I think I'm going to go ahead and take a overnight trade here. I'm going to buy at the money call options. Okay, and I'm going to look at the September, looking at Nove beans with a 9/22 or September 22nd expiration. Looking here at the 950 calls, trading around 13.5 cents. It's going to cost about $640 or so. We'll buy these, hold them overnight, see if I can get a pop higher. I'm going to look for around 955, 960, so about 10 or 15 cents higher here. is my target. I'm going to see where we are tomorrow, look at the indicators, and determine whether or not I'll close that out. I would prefer to close it out tomorrow morning or by end of day tomorrow, but again, we'll just see how we shake out. If I'm not getting paid by tomorrow, let's say that we have a down day or a small range day, I will consider holding that again through the weekend. But we'll go ahead and look at buying the 950 calls for September around 13 to 13.5 cents. Okay, is the mini Russell. We talked about that. We closed out our last position. Again, another example of a 1, 2, 3 top paying us, meeting our target objective at 13.50 on the nose. So we were happy with the results of that trade. The NASDAQ didn't quite meet our profit objective, but we moved our stops down, locked in profits throughout the way. This market looks like it still can go lower, but we're going to be on the sidelines for now. We've been talking about copper lately, looking for a top in copper, so on the sidelines here. I took a stab and bought some out-of-the-money puts, more as a lottery type play, so I jumped in before we got an official trade. Still watching once we get something that is official. Hopefully this will develop here into a nice 1, 2, 3 top, and the number 2 break will be hopefully here at the trend line. So what we'll see is a move down here, post a number 2, come back up here, make a number 3, and then we come out and take out the number 2, which is also the uptrend line. So that could be a nice trade there. Gold, not doing anything with gold. Same thing with palladium as is copper. Very strong moves to the upside, watching for a top there in palladium. Okay, moving to the softs markets. I put this rectangle here, this for a narrow sideways channel. We've been in this range here from March to now, so the longer that we stay in this range, we could even drag it here. The longer we stay in this range, the more potential for an explosive breakout. So we'll let the thing chop around. The more it stays, hopefully it will coil up and we can take a trade regardless of the direction that we see. Looking at December coffee, market's been kind of a free fall here. Don't know if we'll take out this bottom. I am watching for any signs of a reversal to take a trade to the upside. December cotton, I'm going to nibble in with some call options, unofficial trade. Going to nibble in some at-the-money call options, kind of similar to the beans. At-the-money calls. Looking at D's cotton, 10/20, October 20th expiration. Looking here at the 70 calls. We're trading at 69.16, so slightly out of the money. This will be a short-term trade, unofficial, buying these around 150 to 155. We'll wait, hold for a 1 to 3 day hold period. And last but not least, sugar. Going to do the same thing, taking a short-term trade on sugar, looking for a clearance above these levels here, which is what we're getting this morning. We're trading at 1400. Unofficial trade, looking to buy at-the-money call options on sugar for a 1 to 3 hold period. Ultimately, I think we're going to come up here to 1470. This is an unofficial trade. You can do so in the sugar ETF SGG. So that's what we've got today on the radar. If you have any questions about anything we're doing, the members area, ideas, any questions at all, feel free to reach out. Support at CecilSwingTrader.com. We'll see you on the next update. Traders, like what you see, want more trade ideas each week? Take a $7 30-day complete member access trial by clicking the link below. You'll have immediate access to analysis and seasonal trade ideas on over 35 commodity and currency futures markets, as well as coverage on all of the major stocks, exchanges, and ETFs in the U.S. marketplace. If you like us, follow us on Twitter and Facebook, like us on YouTube, and we hope to see you on the inside.